All right. Welcome everybody to the pod. This is a special evening edition of the pod, pre 4th of July. Uh the well, how are you doing, Roy?
I'm great. I'm still on summer break. I actually had to go into work a couple days this week to clean some stuff, which was a little like, oh man, but it's not too bad. It's kind of nice to be there when no one else is around.
You look far more relaxed than me, so still doing a bunch of 5 a.m.s, getting some change done and at the workplace, and then also um getting ready for company. So we're going to Wisconsin tomorrow morning, and then we're bringing back George's family and her 4 kids. So cleaning the house and doing all kinds of stuff. But excited for the week off and to do some fishing and hang out with my nephews. So that's super exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the original reason for this pod is we were gonna like do a little real American freestyle, try to like do a little research and talk a little bit about it. I'm pretty excited for it. I think that it's a good opportunity to like see if somebody can make it work. Making a professional combat league work is a challenging thing, but
Yeah, been
excited for
trying.
that. And so that was originally. I guess there's some other news that potentially we could talk about a little bit, but um, I don't want to get too bogged down in the other news. So because it
Sure.
would be really easy. There's a lot of stuff going on, and like. In some respects, it might be kind of fun to talk about. In other respects, it's maybe not as much.
Yeah.
So I maybe
Well, we
have
don't
a
have to cover
yeah,
everything in one show.
right. Oh, I may have a little bit to say in defense of the Brands brothers and the abuse that they're taking is
Okay,
to-
we'll talk about that. We'll
totally
talk.
unfair to me. But all right, I digress. We'll definitely probably spend some time on that for sure. But yeah, again, welcome everybody. Glad you can join us. Jump in the chat if you'd like, and Roy's going to monitor the chat while I try to do the producing here. We're a little small shop here, so we got
Yeah.
different things going. I got a yellow hat, but it doesn't play so nice with the green screen. I might have to like retire this, but this is the old Mercatani Uno,
Yeah.
worn by the pirate himself, Marco Pantani, winner of
Hmm.
the Giro d'Italia and Tour de France in the same year. Definitely probably ate a cow at some point in time in his cycling career.
Yeah.
For
I'm
sure.
rocking my. It's hard to tell, but the camera. Let me go up here. My Beverly Hills
Oh,
Norman red
nice.
shirt.
Yeah.
It's good times. I was there a few years as a coach.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Super sweet. Lil Single said he's going to make some shirts, so looking forward to that. All right. So, quote of the week. I always got to go with the quote of the week, right? And
Right.
Mark Schultz, Olympic gold, world champion, super highly respected innovator in the sport of wrestling. Uh, yeah, awesome. Everybody looked up to him. Everybody thought he was great. Uh, but it's a so the quote from Mark Schultz here in wrestling, it's not about size, it's about will, which
Mm.
is a little weird to me because wrestling is in a lot of ways all about size,
Yeah, exactly.
right? I mean, that's why we have weight classes.
When
And
I was in high school, a lot of the weight classes were only 5 pounds apart.
right,
Right.
I remember
Are you 130 or 135?
I
Like,
don't know.
okay.
So my junior year, like I don't know, it was one week I didn't feel like cutting weight or something like that, and like I'm like, Coach, I'm not
Mhm.
cutting weight. You're like, you're an idiot. And he's like, okay, whatever. But you got to wrestle off. And so I was like a 112 pounder, right? So it's like
Yeah.
it was at Leiden. I remember that. Like, so it's up at Leiden, and like, so I was wrestling like JV2 because that was the spot that was open at 119, right?
Yep.
And like, it was an easy way in. Got in there. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy. My skill level. This is not. And then like that dude was strong. like he like, and he immediately headlocked me, right? And I
Right.
was like, holy cow, like I pushed my chin strap over my mouth and I said, Ref, I can't breathe. And for whatever reason, the ref let us up, and then uh, I stopped underestimating my opponent. I won fairly easily, but like it was like dang. So
Yeah.
it is a little weird because I mean like size is a huge factor in all combat sports.
Well, I think especially in wrestling because the weight classes are so close together that even at you don't even have to go that high a level, even at the high school varsity level, which is not that high.
Right.
That people are like decently big for their weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can always just count on being like size wise all right for your weight.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring that up is because in different grapplings, like in jujitsu or whatever, there's like this tradition of going against people of various different sizes. Like
Right. The open
it's
and
not
the.
unusual to roll with someone who's like 30 or pounds more or less than you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have like a totally different strategy. Because in wrestling you can always kind of like go hard.
Yeah. Right.
Because you're going with someone your own size and you know that that's like always going to be the case. But if you're going against someone who's like 40 pounds more than you, like you gotta like think of something new. You can't just go hard.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, that was the interesting thing. Like Spencer Lee always talks about, like when he went to Japan, like,
Yeah,
and he'd be in a practice, and like it would be like guys and girls, and like everybody went with everybody else. You just rotated partners. Your
yeah,
partner could be like a woman 30 pounds lighter than you, or a dude 60 pounds heavier than you. And I think that probably there's some value in that lesson in terms of like technique, and like you're not,
right.
you're focusing on getting that other person better, when you're the larger opponent and things like that. And like you really, obviously, you don't want to like crush each other. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of it's a strange quote for wrestling, but like, definitely, I think that there is some benefit in working through, partners, different sizes and that type of thing. So,
Right. The accurate quote would be like, "We've already controlled for size,
right.
so now
Yeah.
it's about will."
Yeah. Which is also kind of like, uh, crazy too, because like, I mean, I've seen guys like seniors who are like kind of just, burnt out cruising in their senior season, and they got this like sophomore kid who's like 18-0, got all the will in the world, but he just gets packed in an inside cradle, and
Yeah.
all the will in the world ain't getting you out of that inside cradle, bro. And like, so, I mean, there's a huge technique element to the sport of wrestling. And,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Well, you see it in the Olympics too. The weight classes are like 12 kilograms apart sometimes, and there are people who are just in between.
yeah, right. I mean, James, there's a ton of American wrestlers that are tweeners, right? Zane Rutherford, James Green. I mean, guys that just don't have an Olympic weight class, but
Derringer, I think, was like that for a while.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, well, he was also stuck behind some really good wrestlers.
Right.
He had a tough go. All right, cool. I don't have a lot to report on goals. You?
No, I've been able to get in the weight room a lot, but I haven't hit my number yet. I feel like I'm making progress. The end of the summer for me will be mid-August. So,
Okay.
ready or not,
There
I'm
you go.
going for
Gonna shoot a video
Yeah.
for sure. All right, that sounds good. All right, so Real American Freestyle. So this has the community divided a little bit, I guess. Like, I think for generally, like, people support it, and want it to work. But you have, you have these counter leagues, like you have Claw out there, and then you've got Flow. And Flow is not gonna like. I mean, they're basically not gonna promote anything that they don't got a piece of.
Right.
like they've basically been pretending like this doesn't exist, even though like a lot of very much wrestlers that they normally like leverage for views are part of this, right?
Right.
But they don't. But anyway, I mean, I didn't get as much time to do research as I wanted for this show, but I thought, I mean, they got a show coming up at the end of July 30th in Cleveland. I'm gonna go, and so I'll be reporting from ringside, or at least I'll be there. And
Wait, isn't it August 30th?
oh yeah, August 30th. Sorry, yeah, August 30th, and then September they're
Got it.
in Michigan. But
Oh, in Michigan.
no, well they're Cleveland. I'm gonna go to Cleveland because like
You're gonna go to the opening night. Okay,
yeah,
good.
well I'm gonna go to the Michigan one if it runs. But you don't know, right?
Yeah.
So quick. I mean, probably everybody watching this pod is probably familiar with Ben Askren's situation and probably familiar with the updates too. But just wanted to, you know, touch on it a little bit. So Ben is, coming into consciousness a little bit more. He's going to need a double lung transplant. It's and obviously that's a very serious thing, and you have to take a lot of uh, immunosuppressants and things like that. So probably a wrestling room with a bunch of staff floating around is going to always be a pretty dangerous place for Ben going forward. But it does. There is hope, and he's a battler, so he's at the top of that lung transfer list, and they do have some requests for any donations that are possible. Apparently, he doesn't have his insurance company's not paying for his transplants, but so anyway, won't be hard to find on Twitter, but just wanted to kind of touch base a little bit and say that we're thinking about Ben and hoping that that things go well. All right. So Iowa wrestling. Bye bye Bo Bassett and family. So this was there were a lot of different takes on this. But one of the things that I guess what I'll say is that Tom and Terry Brands are champions on the mat. Tom and Terry Brands are champion coaches. They've coached plenty of individual champions. They've coached team champions in an era when only like them and Ohio State, other than Penn State, have sniffed the championship. They they wrestle in front of sellout crowds. They're always getting better. Now, it's not to say that like you wonder why maybe they could do things to maybe get less hurt and things like that or whatever.
Right.
But if you are Bo Bassett or Roy Nyberg or whoever, and you sign up to wrestle for Iowa, then you're signing up to, wrestle for Terry Brands. And they're the boss. And this idea that, like, they were upset about his training situation because he lost U20s, and wanted to be in the RTC and wanted them to fly out the family or whatever, and Tom's like, no, we can't do that because compliance won't let us do that, and or whatever happened. And Tom's saying, don't tell me how to run my program. I feel like he would say that to anyone in the world.
Right.
Even his top donors, right? And, to hide behind, I thought hiding behind prayer and faith journeys is kind of a little bit of a bash on Iowa. And, with everything that's come out in the last couple of days about some other programs, like, when you think about Tom and Terry Brands and what they do, and like, there's like one guy, I feel like, who sort of talks about Iowa as their negative experience, like that's Gilman. And like, after right, after after listening to Gilman for 5 minutes, like, okay. I mean, that guy, when he went to Oklahoma State and bolted, I mean, he's not exactly who I'd want to be my character witness or whatever. So, I mean, I feel like his wrestlers love him. They win. They're champions, and these people think that Tom and Terry Brands should retire because this kid, or a little brat, ran off to somewhere else. I just feel like they need to be defended. They're exceptional, to the wrestling community. They bring in small schools, they do duels, they grow the sport. So anyway, I don't agree with everything. I'm not a huge Iowa fan, but I felt like
you aren't.
What they were getting online was not fair, for sure.
All right.
So I
So
don't know.
is that enough glaze for Tom and Terry
Yeah,
Branch?
I think so. I didn't want to go that far, but I'm really it kind of like I felt like yeah, it was
Okay.
like
Yeah, they're shining. They're shining now.
mm-hmm.
Um, well, I am the Iowa hater on this podcast. So their team success, it is worth noting that they have gotten top recruits at the same time.
Right.
Um, Wrestling for Iowa would, I mean, I didn't do it, but I'm sure it would be an amazing experience. They're consistently the top um, attended duels team in
Mm-hmm.
terms of
Yeah,
attendance and
right.
stuff.
By a mile.
So they create that, and that would be special. That being said, there is something about Tom and Terry that is sometimes that old school stuff is charming, and sometimes feels like it's run its course. I think for a long time I was had like these injury issues and just sort of like just kind of a strange vibe. And their RTC seems to be just a couple people, and there's not a whole lot going on there. Um, so I'm not here to defend Bassett. As a matter of fact, I actually muted the word Bassett on my timeline for a week because
Right.
I was getting so much of that, and I was like, "There's
Yeah.
other stuff happening on X," you know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, for sure.
to me, one of my main takeaways of this is like I don't want to spend a lot of minutes talking about where like high schoolers making these decisions
Yeah,
because
100%.
we spent forever speculating about what's a good fit, and then it's just wasted time.
Yeah,
It
right.
turns out none of that was worth even talking about. The two links I have there are both trolls about that. So the first one is Ria Troll
Uh-huh.
from the Reattack account.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I can't read it from on your screen, but
Yeah, but it says remember when Bo did a 58-week college announcement and then decommitted anyways. People are like,
exactly.
yeah, he should do it again. Yeah. So like I right. I mean, and then
And then there's the decommitment T-shirt. We kind of run the
oh
T-shirt
yeah.
in the wrestling community. So this is one I'm considering getting. It's long sleeve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I need a long sleeve one in my arsenal.
Right.
So yeah, it's just so weird that we spend so much time talking about the transfer portal and high school
Yeah.
decisions.
So we got Madness in the chat. You know if you saw that. Like I feel like that's one of the greatest apps that you know has been created in the last couple of years. So much
Yeah.
fun. So you guys do a great job. So that's yeah, cool. So give them a little flowers too, but they do a great job with that. Yeah, I mean yeah. And then like did you see like someone did a troll post with Keegan Bassett that I want to get
No.
things started early and it listed like 200 universities and like it had like Seton Hall on it and everything and like people are like this family's ridiculous. I mean so many people like bought it like and that the fact that it was like plausible right is like telling
Yeah.
like the people actually did like uh buy into it like is like a very very telling thing but yeah anyway who knows where
Yeah.
Bo goes. All right. So, to Real American Freestyle, which is what we really sort of wanted to talk about. So, um, got a number of signed fighters. Oh, wrong link there. I got them all here. So, this is quite the stable. I mean, when you think about like fun, uh, athletes, Austin Gomez is
Yeah.
gonna go for it, right? Aaron Brooks dominant. Interesting to see how Bo Bartlett. Bo Bartlett does seem to be a little bit more exciting with freestyle, and like, could it be that all this whole Penn State and like him talking about getting an oil check by Carter is all just hype for Real American Freestyle? It's like, I don't think that it is, but like now you have to wonder with anything that happens in the community, is this just like the Real American Freestyle guys writing a script, and being like, hey, what about this? And like people believe it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, would people believe that he would do that? And they're like, oh yeah, for sure. So obviously Ben got signed before all those happened, and like it would have been fun to see him back on the mat. And I think he still feels like, when you talk about like what the most recent fighting experiences and what do people, casual people, know about Ben Askren's fighting career?
Probably
Masvidal,
got knocked out
Jake
in
Paul,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
right? And the wrestling people remember him getting run out, beat the streets, and Burroughs double legging him into like the
right, right.
15th row. So uh, since he got on that TRT, I think he was pumped. That's a bummer. David Carr, Evan Wick, right? Just saw them. Final X, fun,
Yep.
exciting athletes. Um, Candy Blades, super sensational. Like you just get her in there with somebody who's not that great, and suplexes will fly.
Right.
Like, she definitely got that like move. That's so exciting. I mean, it's
It
exciting.
looks like that's one of the angles they're going with, the veteran versus the current team
Yeah.
member
Uh huh.
kind of vibe,
Right.
with like Caldwell versus Woods and
Yeah. That,
what was the other one they announced?
it's
Gomez versus
Palmer.
Palmer.
Yeah, Gomez Palmer. Like so, Kyle Dake, obviously. Ramos, fun guy.
Yeah,
Caliendo, he did well. I mean, it is interesting, like the headgear shots, you know, like for freestyle.
yeah, yeah.
Right? Are they really gonna wear headgear? Probably not. NATO, and then Keck. So cool. Real Woods, Hildebrandt, Gross, Hidley, Hidley, uh, Zahid, Wyatt, and Will Luan. Much maligned Will Luan.
Will Lewand, he's a dynamo in freestyle,
Yeah.
man.
Oh man. He has some good upper body stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
He can find that trigger. I went up to CMU, uh, and so it was like Willuan and then Johnny Lovett, and like Will bombed him in a headlock. It was pretty sweet. Like, because Lovett's a super dynamic, fun guy too. Like,
Yeah.
but so this is cool. I hope that they get a little bit aggressive with foreign talent. I mean, I know
Oh, they
like
announced Hildebrandt versus Hernandez.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm
So
thinking more like Dagestan or
right.
Iran or like. I mean, there's stories to be made there, right? I mean, for sure. So yeah, and then so we've got Woods and Caldwell. So Caldwell's got a lot of good replayability, at least one match. I don't know how many times I've watched that.
Oh yeah, that's one of
That's one of
the
the greats,
classics
right?
of all time.
Yeah,
I mean, people talk about Dan Gable, and Gable Stevenson
yeah.
as biggest upsets of all time, but I think that one has to be.
Which is weird because he pinned Metcalf the year before in a spladle, and
Right.
he was undefeated. So I think it was just too much belief in Metcalf. I don't know where, but
No, but Metcalf had beat him like 14-2 earlier in the year or something.
yeah, he tacked him in the All
Yeah.
Star, so it wasn't a
Right.
real duel. He was just setting him up, man.
Yes. No.
Just setting him up.
Caldwell, he wrestled on a flow card, I think, against Luke Pletcher, I believe.
Oh yeah.
This was either during COVID or right after COVID or something like that, and we'll see how he looked. Luke Pletcher, as I remember, worked him pretty good.
Yeah, what Piles said is like I mean, he graduated and he was like crushing it in freestyle, like beating everybody. And then I guess he had Piles said he had a rollerblading accident, just busted up his shoulder. Then he went into MMA.
Got it.
Well, I think he might have won a title,
I think he was some kind of title
Bellator
holder.
or something. Yeah,
I don't think as high as Bellator, but
but then and then another successful two-time EFC champ, Palmer and
yeah.
Gomez. I think when Palmer beat Metcalf, at the Big Ten championship. I mean, he was good. I mean, like obviously Metcalf was really really good, but Palmer beat him at the Big Tens. That was pretty exciting, and I was so pumped for the finals in the NCAA. And then Metcalf ended up riding him for like a minute 10 or minute 5 or something in the second period. And so it's like 0-0 with like a riding time, and then Metcalf picked neutral. It's like just hand fought for 2 minutes. I was like, it was so frustrating, like you really wanted to like see it go into OT or something. Like each guy get their escape and then like Metcalf's like, oh man, I got a riding time point here. I'm just gonna like win 1-0. Not fun, but I get it.
Yep,
I
yep.
understand the strategy.
Well, they're gonna have a rule set that won't allow that in real American freestyle.
Yeah, we hope so. That's what Willie
Right?
said.
They haven't announced that yet.
Willie said, everything you love and nothing you don't. So I don't know what exactly that means, but like I feel like if Hildebrandt Hernandez too, also another
Yeah, yeah.
awesome. But if we talk about before we get to Nomad, let's talk about like potential rules. So when somebody says everything you like about freestyle and like nothing you don't, what are the things that are the most frustrating? I think for me, the reviews
Yeah.
are a killer to the experience. Because like even if you have replay, like let's say we're on a station other than Flow, so there's like replay, like or whatever. Like so even if you have replay, like I mean you're reaching out to a casual fan, right? And I mean even like people who like love wrestling have like hard time scoring some of those freestyle sequences,
Yeah, yeah. I
right?
was I was gonna say the ambiguity of certain things, like with the roll, like somebody shoots and there's a roll through, and is that a three and a two, or is that just a two?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems also like not connected to, like, if you imagine as a casual fan, there are like a takedown. You don't need to like really know a lot about wrestling to understand why that like is good for that person. But
Mm-hmm.
this like, oh, we rolled through, but he initiated it, so that's why he got the points, and
Yeah.
so that kind of stuff I would like to see less of. Maybe
Yeah.
even like, just get rid of like neutral back exposure. So you can get a gut wrench or a leg lace once you're like on top,
Mm-hmm.
but you're allowed to like do those like roll throughs on the ankles and all that stuff as long as you're still neutral
Right.
because it's just in service of getting your takedown. So that would be my proposal. So you'd have the neutral scrambling of folk style, but the
Right.
parterre of style. And you'd also have the one of the cool things about freestyle is that you can just pick somebody up and like back arch them, slam them. Uh,
Right. You definitely gotta have some slams.
right.
Yeah, I think it's tricky. I mean, I kind of think like you know, that would really change things because there's a
Yeah.
whole lot of that, like, Dake and his, in,
Spinning on his head and like not
yeah,
exposed.
or like just like guys shooting singles and you take them over, and I mean that's a big part of the scoring. I mean that if you don't finish your offensive move, you're in like a lot of risk. Where in folk style, you're not
Right.
really in risk as
But
much.
that creates, well, to me, that creates more incentive to attack.
Yeah, yeah, I don't
I
know.
mean, it's just a proposed rule.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I like about freestyle, I think that the push out in freestyle works. I don't want to push out in folk style. I just want to say that
Mm-hmm.
straight up because I know some people are banging that drum. But in freestyle, I think it's a great rule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So blood time. I don't know how you get around that, but like
Wrestle through it, man.
super
Like
glue,
let's see.
man. Like yeah, you bring in the doctor, like he's okay. Yeah. I don't know. Like the I mean pretty hard to like so like the pin like I mean a pin's not a KO, right? And it'd be hard to incentivize and like you could incentivize it, but it'd be hard to sort of make it easier kind of thing.
Well, you can't incentivize it more than what it is right
Yeah,
now.
right. Well, yeah,
It's
because
the
it's
end of the match,
well, it's
no matter what the scores.
prize fighting though, so you can incentivize it with
Oh, it's
large
money.
money. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
So that was more what I was thinking. Obviously, yeah. It's like so I don't know. It's I think 9 minutes is a long time. I mean, that's the only rule we know is that it's like 9 minutes, you know. But I mean, I'm old enough to know that like there's only one real way to find out if something's a good idea. You just gotta
Right.
you gotta do it, right? And so things that turn out to be bad, you just you adjust, right?
Yeah.
You get dynamic and like
All
so.
right. Here's one other thing though. One thing I like about freestyle, I like the shot clock because instead of like in folk style where they just warn you for stalling and it's just like an instant like this happened and you didn't know, it was
Mhm.
like the ref's emotion in the moment. But
Right.
at least in freestyle, like they say, hey, this is the way we see things. You got 30 seconds to make something happen.
What if you did like a alternating shot clock? Like every
Like
minute,
basketball.
every minute, you just flip to a
Yeah, yeah.
different guy, so that guy is like incentivized to score. So every minute just flips. So you're getting a lot of scoring, and you're getting like, I mean, it's a double win. If you score when you're on the shot clock, you don't give up that point, and obviously you
Right,
get
right.
your points, right? So if you did like so then there'd be like tension always. Every minute there's tension because there's about to be a point
Yeah,
scored, even if the guys are just like pushing
yeah,
around, right? So if you had like right, just alternate, flip a coin, whatever, beginning of the
yeah, yeah.
match, and then you just alternate every minute. There's always tension,
I like it.
and
I like the I like that. I like the criteria too.
yeah,
Because when somebody's always winning, it just creates a different vibe to like sometimes when the matches are tied and both guys are tired, you see a little bit of straight legs and like
yeah,
let's
right,
like save for the last 30 seconds and punch it out. Yeah.
for sure. Oh yeah. All right. So speaking of real American freestyle haters, like, what is up with Nomad, man?
Yeah.
Like it's like he had the like the attendance thing, and yeah, there's a lot of seats available, right? But I mean, like a couple things going on. They really haven't announced major fights. They haven't done any like. So I'm waiting for like some more uh, aggressive marketing material. I mean, they got a little bit of back and forth going in on Twitter and stuff. I didn't click on the trash talk link, but you got Woods and Caldwell like having a little fun and stuff like that, and trying to like promote things a little bit and like. But I mean, we don't know, what the main event is. People are waiting. I think that like with any event like this, the if I see a lot of empty seats, some people will wait because they feel like they can probably get a better deal. You know,
Hmm.
if you're in Cleveland or whatever, you don't have to commit immediately. But this is sort of his dig on this whole thing because he just feels like this is like uh, bad for the sport, or so he's like he doesn't
Doesn't
like
even make any
weigh-ins,
sense.
right? He's like, oh, I don't like next day or previous day weigh-ins, and
Well, hold
somehow
on, hold on. We gotta finish talking about the attendance thing.
okay, go ahead.
Does he place? Did he place a chart of like world team trials?
Yeah, right. Or like
You know, or
the ranking series event in Zagreb.
yeah, exactly. Of course, we're like more than 2 months away from this event.
Hmm.
Um, it's an amazing venue from what I've heard. I actually haven't been to
Yeah,
that venue, but
yeah,
um, yeah. How could you expect it to? I wouldn't believe them if they said it was sold out already.
right. And that's
Because
right,
Woods Caldwell. Like, wait a second.
right.
There's some kind of like funny business going on there.
Right. And yeah, right. And yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah. One,
Just a bizarre. Is there any wrestling event in North America besides the NCAA championships that would sell out 3 months in advance?
yeah, right.
Well, maybe Iowa Penn State duel or maybe some Iowa duels, but in general, like this is like such a crazy take.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, yeah, you go to like Right. Any of the U.S. Open or whatever, or you go to like
Yeah.
Pan Am's, and there's like
Oh yeah.
12 people in the audience. I mean, like, right. I mean, like, yeah, I agree that like
I
it's
went to Stanford, Arizona State last year, and they're both good teams. And
hmm
uh, Arizona State is, and they're not local, but they're both West Coast teams, and it was pretty easy to just walk in and sit wherever I wanted.
yeah, right.
And I love Stanford, but yeah, this is
Yeah.
the reality.
hmm Yeah. No, right. I mean, so it's strange take. And then he was complaining about, weigh-ins. Day before weigh-ins, said understand MMA and boxing do both. Do day before weigh-ins, but I'm not sure encouraging more weight cutting will carry favor with the parents who are already reluctant to get their kids into our sport. So like again, that doesn't make any sense.
Like,
How professional wrestlers cut weight, versus like your kid says, I want to wrestle in like third grade.
right.
Like, well, no, 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 you're gonna have to cut weight. I mean, what? Like it doesn't make any sense. I'm just confused.
Now,
Um,
just so there's so much wrong with this tweet because he's also just like reading the minds of like parents who is like
right.
he's never met.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anybody, just take boxing for example. Do you think there are any parents out there who are like, "Oh, it's the sport is fine, but that weight cutting."
Right. Yeah.
It's just like you're either like the combat thing, it's kind of your vibe or it isn't.
Yeah. Right. hmm
And the weight part, these are professionals. They're not talking about changing high school or college weigh-ins,
Right.
which I agree for the safety of the athletes should be closer to the match, but for professionals,
No,
they
100%.
are the only thing that makes sense.
And it's crazy. I mean, like those UFC guys cut 40 pounds. They put on like 25 pounds, and it's nuts. I mean, they have it
That's
down to
why
a
you need like,
science, and
yeah,
like
exactly.
that's what you
Professionals helping you do that.
that's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see like AJ Ferrari going like 155, like, whatever. Like, it's gonna be nuts. And then what was
Well,
it?
actually, this brings up an issue though, because in the UFC, basically you forfeit something for your purse if you miss weight, but you
Right.
still have a match.
Well,
I,
your opponent has a choice, but I mean they financially incentivize them significantly to
right.
fight anyway. So yeah, I mean I assume you'd have to have the same rule in any league where you have people weighing in, some sort
Yeah.
of punishment.
I think the old guys, I don't know, man. The old guys should get like a kilo or something. Like Caldwell,
Yeah,
you get
so
you get weighed 2 kilos above weight. Like,
yeah, you could have some sort of algorithm, right?
yeah, yeah.
So like if you're like 65, you get like 4.5 kilos or something. And then the last one, what? Now that Final X is over, I'd like to say that I think real American freestyle would be complete and total failure and one of the greatest misuse of funds that could go elsewhere in the sport that we have ever seen.
Hmm.
And he's like, if I'm wrong, you can dunk on me. But I mean, it wasn't like, do we put $1 million, $10 million into this or that? I mean, this is a business venture, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a so again.
This tweet makes me think he's like in on it. He's just playing the field.
You think he's the heel?
Yeah.
They're gonna bring him out, and then so like I saw this one thing, like there was like today, Kevin Claunch, who's half of the Blood Round crew.
Yeah.
He's like, I think you should have like, hey, Real American Freestyle. I think you should have like media guys go up against each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, whose ass does he want to kick? Like, it's like, does everyone want to beat up Piles? I mean, what are we like, like where are we angling here? It's like it was just funny, like that, like where did that come from? He's like, I'm
Yeah.
game, and I thought like, I mean,
I'm
not
trying to think.
he's not a big guy, and I mean he's a high school wrestling level guy, so like there's 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 plenty of people in the media scene that can probably work them pretty good. I think that you probably work them pretty good.
Well, I mean, they should do it like WWF used to have them come out to the ring with a mic and be like, "You people are all dummies for even being here," and they're like, "Boo!" throwing trash at him.
Yeah, right. I know. Like they have to like. I mean, they can't have it at work, right? But
And then
they,
he could be the manager of the Belarusian.
right? Yeah, maybe everybody's just angling. Everybody wants to be a heel, right? Deep down, like everybody wants to be the heel. So that, yeah, no, no, right? Nomad's gonna become a manager,
Yeah.
for like Bo Bassett.
Well, that'll be proof that the venture worked is if anybody skips college and just goes into professional wrestling. It'll be like a sad
Right.
and a great time.
Hmm. Well, yeah, it's I mean, I saw where, um, Claw was saying you guys shouldn't do exclusive contracts. You know, like I think they want some of their talent or like,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But so it's I mean, it's an interesting time, I'll say, and we don't have enough information to do a real good breakdown of real American freestyle, but definitely want to talk a little bit about it. Like, I'm personally excited. Did you have a wager?
Um,
So I did a poll. Did you see my poll?
no, what's your poll?
Let's see. Let's go here. So that they actually talked about it on Flow today. I submitted this question, but when it's all said and done, which trio of brothers will score more points at the NCAA championship? Ferraris or the Bassets?
Ooh,
This is kind of too long to have a wager. It's like we gotta wait.
right.
He
That'll
gets like
be
4 years from being in college, so it's like
7.
10 years later. So we could like go over this at episode, 2004. Remember that
Yeah,
bet?
yeah.
But 75% say Ferrari. I mean, they already got like 40 in the bank, right?
Right.
So they got a first and a third. Likely AJ, if he gets 2 more years, will probably do third or better for two
Wait,
years.
where's the third one at? He's at like Morgan State or something?
Yeah, he went. He's a
Morgan.
red shirt at Long Island last year, and then he's at Morgan State.
Yeah. Okay.
I know he was like a top 10 guy coming out of high school. Uh, like
So he's
top 10, top 20 big board guy. So
a big board guy. Okay.
there's something there. But I mean, he's had his own adventures.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'd probably go Ferrari just because they already got 40 points in the bank, and
Yeah.
like Bassett
Has
made.
there ever been just from a historical point of view? I'm sure there have been 3 brothers that all became Division One wrestlers before. Who would currently hold the record? And the rule is you have to have 3 brothers, so you can't just have like Tom and Terry Brands. There has to be like a third.
Yeah, the record for points scored.
Currently, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It may be the Ferraris.
Yeah, it might already be.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that can't be though. Well, wait. What are those? They just haven't scored that many points. The Lamers, Legend Lamer. Like there's like 800 Lamers. That filter
Yeah.
through
Oh,
Michigan and.
who
But
were those guys that wrestled for Duke? Like the Goldsmiths
oh
or
yeah, yeah. Goldstein
fuck.
or like fine
Yeah, yeah.
fine silver, fine silver,
Fine Silver.
fine
Fine
silver.
Silver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, they were. He was at Michigan for 1 year, grad transfer. One of them
Right,
was.
right.
Mhm. But yeah, I mean Ferrari's got like 40 points. That's hard. So I assume that probably uh one of those really really good guys probably had two brothers who did like D1. One of those like four-time champ. So Sanderson's had at least two, right?
Oh, the Williamses. Joe Williams,
Oh,
TJ Williams, and Steve Williams.
yeah. There you go.
I'll bet they're the current record holders.
This,
Wait,
we need a wrestling
archive.
large language model. No AI. We could just ask.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what we need.
oh man, the archivist won't be a job anymore.
Right.
2 months.
So yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I think the guys on Flow picked Bassett's. Bassett's. And I was like, oh man, I don't know.
Mm, yeah.
I don't
We'll
know.
see.
Both.
I would go Ferrari. I would go Ferrari.
Yeah. Yeah, because Angelo, you got to figure that Angelo's he's
Yeah.
stinking good, man. I mean, he's definitely AAing. Got a shot at like top three and a shot at winning. So AJ up at heavyweight's got a pretty good shot. So
I'd be surprised if he wasn't top three. He's got more than a shot at top three.
Angelo, yeah, hmm agreed. So you got a wager? What do we got coming up here?
We already did Vito Jax, right?
No. Well, we both have Vito winning.
We both have Vito. So that's like not that. Hmm.
Right. Well, you could we could do
There's
something.
Fargo.
Right. We could do total points.
Oh, total points?
Total points. Vito Jax. You set the number. I'll pick.
Ooh. This is actually like kind of tough.
Right. You don't know if it's gonna be two matches or three matches. They're both like
Yeah, and they're both.
scoring machines. Vito Gator roll you into like oblivion, right? Just
Yeah. I'm gonna put the line for that at like 34.5.
34.5. That's like
That's
10, let 12 a match, almost. A little under 12 a match.
if there's three matches.
Ooh, if it's three, I guess I gotta go the under. What'd you say the number was?
34.5.
34.5. Put that in there. Hmm. Man, it's like, uh, you
Right,
know,
it'll be like 20 or it'll be 60.
yeah, right.
It's not gonna be like 33 and like, oh, you said a good line, you know.
Like, right. Well, you never know, man.
You never know.
You never know.
All right,
People,
you got the under. I'll take the over.
yeah, I'll take the under on that, just because in case it's two matches.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard to do. All right, so best of social, I guess. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, holy crap! Wrestling Twitter was a strange space today. Yeah,
More will be revealed.
I don't even. Yeah, I feel like right now, like there's a potential. I will like say that 3 weeks ago, my hot take was
Yeah, yeah.
there was
That
going
was
to
your
be
hot
a
take.
huge scandal in wrestling, and I think we may have it. But it's so the spectrum's so large, right? There's like this could affect like coaching, this could affect recruits, this could affect a lot of things. But right now, feels like a little early to chat too much about it.
Yeah, it's early. It's early.
And but yeah, there's definitely camps. You know, people are over the top. Okay, what do you got? You got our boy Colton, I assume.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So Colton joined the Spirit Squad.
yeah, it's awesome.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
In this that like that shot just reminded me of the TV show Glee, if you remember it back in the day.
Yeah, right. You could just be holding up two of them. You know, just
Yeah,
definitely gonna be a base.
yeah. So
But I mean, I
yeah,
think yeah, I think that's super fun. That's super cool. Nice, nice to see that. And then, what do you think he stays wrestling? Greco makes a run, or I mean,
we'll see. I mean, I don't see anybody beating him. It's just a matter of like if he wants to keep doing it.
well,
Well, Kuhn is yeah. Is
you
Kuhn?
got to qualify the weight, right?
Oh, that's true.
And
It is
that's
work.
the tricky thing because if it's not the Olympics, I mean, so you either qualify the weight at the World Championship the year before,
Right.
or at Pan Am's, I think, right?
Did they have like ranking series events for Greco?
I'm sure they do. So he's got to
Okay.
be. He's basically just got to like not get on the side of the bracket of the Cuban at Pan Am's.
Right.
But that's 3 years of your life hoping you don't get on the same side of the bracket as a Cuban, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but not everybody. I mean, it is sort of uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
like this guy. There's a. I mean, wrestling should end for most people,
Right.
right? I mean, like, go be a doctor, go be a cheerleading coach, or whatever the case may be. Uh,
Oh, we referenced this clip in the last show. That was why I wanted to like
oh yeah.
put it in. And we don't. I mean, I don't know if you want to play it or. It's
Well,
essentially Phil is just saying that the track record of people who start the grind when they're 7, 8, or 9 years
hmm
old is actually not very good. And
right.
if you look at the last 20 years of top 5 recruits out of high school,
hmm
it's actually rare that they pan out to become top 5 college
Yeah.
wrestler.
Well, I mean, and like so, Christian Carroll, good example. He was number one on the big board, I think.
Yeah.
At Iowa State, he was at boy committed like Illinois, Northwest. I mean, he committed to like a huge number of schools, and then he also, um, has moved around a lot in
Yeah.
college as well. And Braxton Amos comes to mind. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I mean, like I mean,
There's a
I
lot of
guess I shouldn't even be naming people because it's not really fair because they're
Yeah, I was just gonna.
they're names that come up, but there's a ton of guys like that, right? And like
It's
so,
actually
my
the normal
apologies
thing.
for like for bad. I mean, picking on somebody who's like just doing their thing, and lots of reasons: injuries, girlfriends, homesickness, fear. There's
Yeah.
a ton of reasons that people don't meet their wrestling potential, if you will. So
I
yeah,
think this also like the Who's Number One event in wrestling, and then the Who's Number One event in like flow grappling, which is like a jujitsu event,
right.
feel totally different. The Who's Number One in high school, it's almost to me that's almost like interleague play, where for a while it was like, oh, what's going to happen when the state champ from Illinois wrestles the state champ from New
Right.
York, and but now that we like travel so much
Yeah,
and
it happens at Iron Man. It happens at Super 32. It happens, right. So,
right, so we kind of know where everyone stands at least currently.
mhm.
And so that event just doesn't strike me as like something. It's not super compelling to me. The way like Who's Number One really does get like the number one ranked guy in the world at their weight, fighting the number 4 guy in the world at their weight.
Right.
So it is. There's like a little more to it, and it feels more like an event when you watch like the grappling one.
hmm Yeah, for sure. Well, and they're older, right? I mean, they're professionals, right?
Right, right. It's just interesting that Who's Number One. I think the high school wrestling is like the flagship, like original idea was to find these like top high school wrestlers and really determine who's number one.
hmm
And then flow grappling, I think, grew out of flow wrestling and then became this like other thing.
Right.
But they took the Who's Number One brand and made it into something else.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it'll be interesting, right? All these guys, and like, I mean, 2028, right? I mean, like, so
Yeah.
I'm super, uh, I'm super interested to see how this crop does at Worlds. Like,
I mean, our current team.
yeah. I mean, I have no. I mean, we could walk out of there with a couple medals, or we could walk out of there with a bunch of them.
Yeah, I was looking at the lineup like a few days ago, and I was like, "Gosh, I don't know, man. Like,
Right. Well, I know, and like it was weird. Like,
I'm rooting for him, but I was like,
right, you got like and you got Spencer,
yeah."
and he ought
But
to.
even Spencer gets like Spencer just attracts Vision Quest guys. You don't know
Yeah.
if there's going to be some Belarusian who's like, "I've been training to beat Spencer Lee," and he's
Right.
like, "Dang it, why can't I just like
Yeah,
be a
that's
number one,
true.
like or mow through the field for once in my life?"
Yeah, and that Chinese guy gives him a tough match every time too. Like
Yeah.
he could catch him, but Yeah, I think I feel pretty confident that Spencer will medal.
Yeah,
But yeah, beyond that, uh,
right.
it's compelling. You know, like Wyatt is compelling. I mean, he was like U23 gold,
Yeah, yeah,
and obviously gotten better. But I mean, those heavyweights are monsters.
yeah, yeah.
So super interesting. Like I said, yeah, I'm really pumped for Worlds and like just to see where it's at, you know. But yeah, for sure. Yep, still out there. Anybody wants to be a guest on the pod? Talk about any fun stuff. I don't know when we're gonna go again. I'm on vacation next week, so uh
Yeah, let's take July 4th
yeah,
off.
yeah. Take next week off and then we got a ranking series coming up we can talk about. But yeah, join the fun. Email quadrarpodcast@gmail.com or DM on X. And I don't know. What do you think timing wise? I kind of like Wednesday over Saturday.
You mean for meeting regularly from here on
Yeah,
out?
like changing things up
Um,
midweek.
Let me think about that, but Wednesday could work.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Wednesday's better than Saturday.
Yeah, I think in season that'd be better too because we'll be talking about upcoming
Last week and next
upcoming
week.
duels. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that's out
Well,
there.
thank you all for watching.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything
Listening and
else.
participating.
My deck froze on me. That's all right. Oh,
Well, because we don't watch that anymore.
oh, went to the wrong
Ignore
one.
that stuff.
Yeah, ignore that. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, everyone. Do you monitor the chat?
Yeah. The some Iowa love in the chat.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah. Have a great fourth. That's you and everybody else out there. Be
Yeah.
safe. Have fun. Eat some good food with the fam, and we will see everybody in a couple weeks.
Yeah. See
Oh,
ya.
you're going to Dad's win? Few weeks.
Yeah, the 20th.
All right. Maybe we'll see you then. I don't know.
Yeah, coordinate because I'm going to be at the Oshkosh Air Show most of that time.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll see you. I'll see you online.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for hanging
Take care.
out. Let me take us out. Let's see.